got my close up again.
There you are. You got a close up. What is the deal with that shot? Hold on. Let me see if I can fix that.
Yeah, that's.
What is that?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Green line.
I don't know. That's bizarre. Not seen that before. Let's see if it's on everything. No,
No.
not there. But there. How about that?
Do the one with Jeff when he comes on. See if it's got the same thing. It's just on the
It's just
should be good.
everything's falling apart. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Beats me.
Just keep it on like this until we.
I guess I'll keep it on that and see if I can't figure it out. I'm not the whole Photoshop stuff.
It's not up your alley.
Well, I'm not good at it at all. Is that going to throw people off the stuff? Here, I can fix one thing.
Look at there. It's like the old days right here. It's the old you.
I don't know what that is. Beats me.
Not know what camera to look into. I got you.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, and I'm straight ahead, so it's kind of an awkward deal, but
get to see your good side.
Yeah. Yeah.
How we doing, brother? We got some juice today or what?
I'm a little juiceless. It was a long weekend, a lot of driving, and got back late last night and got up and podcasted with Chase, and then did 10 Thoughts, and I'm a little frazzled. Not frazzled. My back's killing me. I don't know what that is. I think I kind of between running on a bad treadmill, sitting in bad bleachers, and driving a lot.
That'll do it.
I think that's it. So we'll get rolling here with Jeff.
Do it.
Jeff Traylor is going to join us. That's him there.
He joining us now?
Yeah.
Well, let's do it.
Okay.
You got to start audio file. No, it's somebody setting him up, I think. You setting him up?
Hi, good afternoon. Just setting up for Coach Traylor.
Yeah, we're good. Just we'll be looking for him whenever he gets back. The camera will be on though, so
yeah, and we'll be live when he jumps in.
Gotcha. All right, thank you very much. You guys can hear me just fine?
Yeah, we hear you good, man. All right, we hear you good.
All right, he should be here in about 10 minutes.
Sounds good, bud. We got all kinds of fun stuff going on today.
Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey at the different sounding can, because it's a different can.
It's a different can.
Talk about it in a minute. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. Jeff Traylor, the UTSA coach, was going to join us here in a little bit. He's already getting all set up there in San Antonio, so we'll talk to him about a number of things. Got a lot of things that we want to get his thoughts on. Well, first, I want to tell you that we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. You may have noticed we're having we were having some. It's not even a technical issue. So I'll explain to the people that are watching in the stream, people who are listening to this
they have no
means
idea.
nothing to you. Having some sort of an issue with one of our main shots. We're not having that problem this morning. I've not changed anything, but suddenly we're having it today. So I'll fix it after this. But anyway, so I had to go to a different. I had to go to a different thing that we would have gone to anyway when Jeff joined us. So we'd be there now anyway. So it's fine.
I was kind of disappointed that wasn't my guy Zach Brown that I work with here at Ole Miss. He's at UTSA now. And he's a trip, so I'm going to mess with him and tell him they're in a staff meeting right now, so he'll be joining us as soon as he gets out of staff meeting. So, all right, can I go into this real quick?
Yeah, real quick. Let me tell you this:
right.
We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
All right, so I'm rocking. I found in my infinite wisdom of going to Tupelo, Mississippi this weekend for the 7U Oxford Orioles baseball tournament. I had to make a side trip to to Kroger because my 7-year-old, I got voted biggest asshole in my car
Yeah.
on Saturday. So my 7-year-old, after the first game, got sick. We had like a 2-hour break. So I was going to go get some breakfast. He proceeds to just puke in the back of my truck. So we had to go make a run at Kroger, get some paper towels and some stuff to clean it up. Well, while I was there, I have found the first, and they only had literally one can.
One can.
I would have brought you one.
Yeah.
The rainstorm has found its way to Mississippi. I have not been to the Kroger since here in Oxford, so I don't know if it's in there or not. So I'm rocking the peach nectarine. So this is actually a smaller can. All right. We're looking at a 12-ounce can.
Yeah.
Talked to Bob a little bit about it the other day. It's got obviously less caffeine. It's got different things in it that makes it a different kind of drink, I guess. This is freaking-tastic. This is peach nectarine.
Yeah,
and I'm a big nectarine guy. Really like the taste.
Yeah.
It's on point.
That's good. That's good. I will tell you that I was in Gulfport on Saturday. Carson's team was supposed to play at 4. The weather, the drive from Hattiesburg to Gulfport Saturday afternoon in the rain, the storm was. I'm not being hyperbolic here. I've never driven in weather that bad.
Wow.
There were multiple times when I literally could see nothing in front of me, and it was just, what are we doing? This is so stupid. And I kept telling Carson,
all for soccer.
I'm like, y'all aren't playing. I'm like, keep me updated, because I kept waiting for him to go, yeah, hey Dad, they just canceled it. But anyway, they didn't. We got to Gulfport, found a Buffalo Wild Wings. I was able to watch some of the Grove Bowl. So guys,
congratulations on that.
I knew I'd have to talk about it, so I was able to
get some big pointers out of the spring game.
So many.
What a waste of time.
I wrote about it in the 10 Weekend Thoughts. Anyway, we went ahead and went to the Gulfport Sportsplex at like 3:30. Then the game got moved to 5:20, and so I'm like, just go hang out with your teammates. I'm gonna go walk. Okay. So I went walking. It's a big sportsplex, as you might imagine. That's why they call it the Sportsplex. And
off the rails. Jeff has no idea what he's coming into today.
And so I'm walking around, and I end up just I get past all the soccer fields, and I'm like, oh, hey, I got an hour and a half here. Keep walking. And I walked, and I start hearing music. And I'm like, wait, I wonder if that couple trailers set up. And I keep going. And I hear, now batting, number 26.
That's what the text was.
Madison. And then she has like a one-pitch at-bat. And I'm now like walking towards this. I'm like, I have to see this. And I'm the old man standing out in the center, behind the center field fence. I'm the creepy guy looking at all the girls. But I'm really not. And then it's, it was something weird. So she was leading off the inning, this Madison girl, who I'm sure is a lovely girl. And they intentionally walk her, like, to lead off the inning? I'm like, what is she going to do?
She must be good.
She must be awesome. Anyway, my attention span immediately goes to now batting number 7, Abby.
Dude,
and then there's a one-pitch at-bat. I'm like, this is insanity. But I couldn't stop.
You stopped laughing.
I mean, I was laughing. I was crying. I texted you. I had tears coming down my face.
I was cleaning up puke when you sent that. Literally, when you sent that, I was cleaning up puke. And so I was trying to process. I was like, after I got the text, I'm like, where did he hear that? And it took me a minute to get to there. But all right, so as promised, before our boy Jeff gets in here, I did have some an Oxford Orioles update.
Okay.
All right. The favorite 7U baseball team of McCready Siskey podcast. So I'm a big asshole because my wife says, okay, he needs to go home. He's puking. Well, as soon as he got done puking, he looked fine. He's like, I'm fine. I was like, and I told my wife, he's fine. Let him play. He's good. So she called me an asshole because I was being mean because I was going to make him play. Well, I wasn't going to make him play.
You didn't make him play. You asked him if he wanted to play.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
if he told you, hey, Coach Siskey, I feel terrible.
Well, it's Dad, but.
Oh, yeah. If he said, Dad, I feel terrible. I feel gross. I feel like I'm going to throw up again. You wouldn't have even let him play.
Right.
But
No,
he told you,
yeah, he's good.
you
So
puke and rally.
we go, and so the first game we took one on the chin, 17-6. But we did have we actually had a 2-1 lead after one.
Oh,
All right.
did y'all stop and do a team photo?
We needed to. I
Yeah.
was all excited because the way this bracket was set up, it was going to be all night deal. So he plays the second game. As soon as the game's over, after we got drubbed, I think it was 14-4 in the second game.
Yeah.
He starts puking again.
Oh, now
And so it's time to go.
ball game.
And then we didn't play again to like 5:40 because, which I don't know. I'm sure it's been like this for a while. It just really caught me the other day is we played in a loser's bracket that they don't call it a loser's bracket. It's called a consolation bracket, right?
Yeah.
So it was, and then so Knox is at the house and they win 2 in a row in the consolation bracket.
Oh,
and
the Orioles. The Orioles win.
They win the consolation bracket and get medals
Oh.
for finishing 7th. Congratulations.
There's nothing like a 7th.
Nothing like
medal.
old 7th place medal when you've got 9 teams there. Finished 7th out of 9 and got a medal. Congratulations. But I do have 2 new icks, okay, that it's going to be right up your alley.
Okay.
All right, so here are my new icks. I promise every time I come back from one of these tournaments, something's going to hit me. And it did. So the first one was we were on defense. There was a runner on first base.
Yeah.
And they hit a foul ball in the air, pop fly, close to the first base dugout.
Okay.
Our guy catches the ball.
Okay.
Their runner tags up, goes to second. And we had minimum of 15 people losing their mind that it was a foul ball. He can't advance. So my 7U baseball, first 7U baseball ick is before you start yelling out loud.
Know the rules.
Know the rules of the game before you start yelling out loud. Because that was like, because I didn't even feel like saying anything, you know what I mean? I was just like, it was so bad that somebody was going to say something. And sure enough, about 45 seconds later, somebody goes, hey, you can tag on a foul ball. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's ick 1. Ick 2, which also involves parents yelling.
Okay.
This happens.
I've got one, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm.
Let's do it. Let's cut it loose.
Do this. Well, go ahead.
All right. So for some reason, when you're at a 7U baseball tournament, you already, like, you don't have to ask which one is your son or daughter if they're playing. You don't have to ask because every single time the ball is hit to them, said parent will stand up and yell at the top of their lungs what that kid is supposed to do with the ball. Ground ball is short. Catch it, Johnny, catch it, Johnny, catch it, Johnny. Throw it to first, throw it to first, throw it to first. So it's every single time the ball is hit, it's everybody. It's like in unison. Everybody wants to yell, and you got 50 people, and the poor kid's 7 years old. He doesn't know whether to shit or wind his wristwatch. He's just staring, and like
7-year-olds don't wear wristwatches.
You wonder why they're confused all the damn time. Like everybody in the building starts yelling at them what to do, and they're actually trying to listen. They're not old enough to tune that shit out.
And
yet.
then just think, by the time the play's over, they don't even have time to think about what just went wrong because it's up next. Number 11.
Yeah, we had announcers. The very first one today, we had the same thing. We had like professional announcer. Somebody, overdid it. Oh, there's hey, what's your name? You probably can't hear me. That would be great. What's your name?
There you go.
Hey,
Coach
what's your
Traylor
name?
coming.
All right, he's coming. I was going to interview you for a minute.
I don't think he had any interest.
He had none. There he is.
I don't see them moving.
Can you hear me?
Pop back in.
Oh, he's going to come out and come back in.
I think they had it right.
There he comes again.
Hit unmute again, Coach.
Where's that at?
I got you.
Can you hear me?
There you go, Jaime.
Check, check.
Oh,
Mic check, Coach.
y'all there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Can you hear us?
I don't see them moving, James. Oh, they're moving now. Can y'all hear us?
Yeah, we hear you good. Can you hear us?
Why can't we hear them, James?
Yeah, we can't hear you guys.
Just James is the guy on the
I
other
heard
side.
them somewhere.
Check, check.
I
Mic
didn't.
check. Can you hear us? Check, mic check. 1, 2.
You guys are getting a full behind-the-scenes
working
look at
now?
how things go.
You heard them earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. We.
Yeah. Can you still hear us? Yeah, you're getting a full full view of
You
what
get-
happens.
This happens on occasion. It's one of the reasons where people are like, hey, why don't y'all do more live stuff? It's like, well,
You see what had happened was.
you see, it happens this way sometimes.
Just gonna pop back in.
Check mic check 3.
It was working, so it's nothing on my end. There's
Yeah,
nothing
he
for me
probably
to
hit a mute button or
fix.
something.
He probably did.
Sammy says James for president. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Check.
can you hear us?
I can hear
I still
you.
can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us, James?
We can hear you.
We can hear you, James. Might want to send a text.
I wasn't working just before you said that, Coach.
James is a little stressed out
James
right
is
now,
stressed.
too. James is like, Coach, I promised this was working.
Turn that off.
James, can you hear us? Check. I'm gonna text my guy Mike. See if Mike will come to the rescue. James, how about we just talk and then they'll figure out.
We'll
what
figure
makes
it out. So I don't need to do this. I have learned that at every game there's somebody who's like a subscriber or related to a subscriber or something, and it pops up. At the end of Carson's game, there was a brief skirmish.
I wish I had James' number here. Let's see if Mike texts me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There was a very brief skirmish. Cole says, "Praying for James."
Yes.
You know, in a soccer game, there's chatter, right? On the
Right.
field. Kids say things. Things get a little heated. And at the end of a game, sometimes somebody goes a step too far with something they say, right?
Right.
And it was a push. Not a punch, a push.
Can you guys hear us?
Yeah,
Yes.
Can you hear us, James?
Still nothing. Can't hear you guys.
I can hear you. We can hear everything you're saying. So
They can hear us just fine. Yeah. I think so.
yeah. Oh, I can hear that you can't hear.
Go get Alex, man.
Okay. It's on their end.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Our volume's
oh,
working.
it's on your end. It's on your
It's
end.
on your end.
We hear you and all that. It's your end.
What do you say? He can't hear us?
Yeah.
No, we can hear you.
Alex.
Text your guy.
I did. He's bringing in the head video guy. I
Yeah,
think.
because they think it's on our end and it's not.
Yeah.
We apologize here, guys.
So
This is what it is.
they can hear us.
But we can't hear them.
Yeah, but we can't hear them.
But you could earlier.
And our volume's working.
Well, they can't hear you say that.
I played a video and the volume was up.
I'm explaining for the people that are hearing
Oh, I
all
got
of
you.
this.
But anyway,
Our mic's working. So,
this is my man Alex right here.
can you hear something?
So anyway, there was a push.
Okay.
And the kids worked it out. For a split second, I thought it was going to get bad.
Right.
But it didn't.
Okay.
Between the kids and the coaches, it stopped immediately.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
And it was working
And a
earlier.
parent who was filming the whole thing goes, I'm going to take this film and I'm going to make sure that kid gets kicked out of the league.
Come on.
And I'm like, come on. You going to do that to a 16-year-old kid? They had a brief little dust up, tempers flared, and they worked it out. It's all good. Nobody got hurt. There wasn't a punch. It's a push, not a punch.
Check. Oh, thought I had him for a second. All right.
I don't think it's on my end.
No.
Because he could hear me originally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Check.
And I should be able to hear somebody, right?
check.
Just okay.
We can hear you.
This is not going to make a very good audio file.
Still can't hear them.
This is why I don't like doing this right here. It works most of the time, but if someone on the other end has just a little bit of a not they don't really, you know what I'm saying? It ends up being a problem.
Check. All right.
Yeah. So we're gonna have we're quickly making this an audio file that's not worth keeping. So that's where we're running into.
All right. So,
in fact, if you are used to listening to this one will probably not be put up in conference file. I don't have that kind of editing capability.
you're good. Just run it, dude. They'll skip through it. Hey, Doors Rule said someone is pounding the mouse. I can assure you it's not the mouse. The mouse is good.
Should we try another computer?
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah.
All good. All right. So while they're doing that,
yeah, let's talk about a couple things. We talked about the Orioles. Let's
portal window open.
Now, I'm a little confused with the portal window.
Okay, I'm here to answer.
Because I had been told for a long time, Drew, I could edit it, but it's so much editing, and I'm not an expert at editing 20 some odd minutes of audio. I'm just really not. No, because we talked in the middle of it, so no.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah.
I know. I think it's one of those things where people think it's a little bit. I'm not good at this, so if I had a professional person, I would be able to say, "Hey, edit this," but I don't, and so it is what it is.
Piece of shit.
I know. I thought the portal.
I think he's gonna try another computer. We got a quad box.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you guys from here.
All right. Good.
Okay. Tell Alex to X out of his.
Yeah, just X out Alex.
Let's go. We got quad box going. There he is.
What's up, man?
You gotta love some technology.
What's up, Jeff? There he is. Jeff Traylor, the UTSA coach, kind enough to join us here on the show. We got it all worked out. How you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Your guy James was quickly becoming a fast celebrity on the live show. Everybody was James for president. He was getting a lot of love.
He's that way every day around here.
How's everything going? Everything good?
Yeah, I just finished up spring and doing some exit interviews and just got through the staff meeting.
Let's go. Hey, I appreciate you joining us. I know you're busy. I know you got through with spring on Friday. One thing I want to start with is for those that have not heard Coach Traylor before. Coach Traylor is one of the, if not the, I know people, I would like to argue with people because I think he is, but he's probably the best Texas high school football coach ever. I know he's going to be humble and all that, but he won 175 and 26 as his time as a head coach in Gilmer. So my first question is, Coach, what in the world is in the water in Gilmer, Texas, of a population of 4,800 that y'all can win at that pace?
Well, that's where I was from, so I had played there in the 80s, and we'd underachieved for many, many years, but I always knew there was unbelievable talent there in that town. And when I got the job in 2000, it was just a matter of getting everybody in the community going the same direction. And, everybody loves to win, especially at a place where you haven't won very much.
Right.
So we won 6 games that first year, and then 8 the second, and then 10 the third, 13 the fourth, and then we won a state championship for the first time in school history. And then those next 10 years, it got really crazy, where we just, we built facilities. The winning got contagious. All the great little players around the area moved into our school. And when you got better players than the other guy you're coaching against, you win a whole lot more.
It does help. But that's what I was, because this was the thing that I've noticed, obviously following you through your career, is you got this head coaching thing figured out. You're 30-10 in your first 3 years at UTSA, another place that every year you've won more than they've won before, and coming off, really 23 games in the last 2 years. But my question is going from a head high school coach to a head college coach, what's the biggest difference in your opinion? From your standpoint, being a high school head coach to being a college head coach?
I got blessed. I was really close with Todd Dodge, who was at South Lake Carroll winning all those games. And it was hard to see Todd there. He started winning so many games at South Lake. that you couldn't hardly get in to see him anymore. There's just such a demand for his time. But when he went to North Texas, he wasn't winning as much. So now nobody wanted to see him. And I'd still go see Todd all the time. Now the line wasn't near as long. I thought he was a really good coach. And, you're just always watching just in case you would ever get your chance. And I noticed how Todd went straight from a head high school coach straight to a head college coach. And I just watched him, and I thought to myself, boy, if I ever got this opportunity, I think I need to be assistant for a while. And that's the hardest part when you've been a head coach as long as we've all been a head coach is you go from making, decisions to making suggestions. And that was the hardest part for me is to go to work for Charlie. And I love Charlie Strong, University of Texas, but I didn't make decisions anymore. I just made suggestions. And then when I worked for Coach Morris, I didn't make decisions again, just suggestions. But I learned so much in that 5 years. I'd say just the recruiting aspect, how to handle all that, how to manage a roster, compliance, academics. It's the other stuff. The ball is still ball. Third down is a lot harder in college, probably as far as picking up all the pressures than in high school. But ball's ball. I would challenge that there are just as many great high school coaches as college coaches when you put them on the chalkboard. It's managing all that other stuff, fundraising, boosters, which I know in Texas that's very similar as a Texas high school football coach, but it's just so much more. That'd be what I would say.
Yep.
Is that what you saw from Dodge's experience at North Texas? You just saw him struggling with some of the stuff off the field and said, I would need to get acclimated a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say I picked up on that. I just saw him go straight from him. And my own. And then I had other guys go, like Chad Morris went to Tulsa, Gus Malzahn went to Tulsa, Todd Graham. There's other guys, that went before me, Art Browse, that I spoke to a lot of those people, just asked them questions, dig. Art went as an assistant to Texas Tech first, and he thought that was valuable. So I listened a lot. I know I love to talk, but I love to listen more than I love to talk, believe it or not, and I love to talk.
That's because when Todd Dodge came to North Texas, they were in the Sun Belt, and I was coaching at Arkansas State. So I coached against him and saw that because North Texas, when they first, I guess it was 2001 or 2, early in the Sun Belt years, North Texas was kicking the shit out of everybody. I mean, they went like 2 or 3 years without losing a conference game, and then they went on some hard times. Todd came in there and really had to rebuild it, but it was like I think they wasn't as patient with him as they needed to be. I think that was part of the deal there. But
in college sports,
yeah, imagine
Come
that.
on, man.
Shocker. Imagine that. Hey, Coach, how many? I always like to ask coaches this: how many times do you think you have moved houses in your career?
Not as much as you think. I started at Big Sandy, and that was one. Then I went to Jacksonville. I was at Big Sandy for 4 years. Then I was at Jacksonville for 6. So that's 2 houses. And then I went to Gilmer, where Carrie and I bought a house when we got there. Then we built a house to raise our kids in. We were in Gilmer for 15 years.
Right.
So that helped. Then I went to the University of Texas. There's a house. SMU's a house. Arkansas's a house. San Antonio's a house. So I've moved more. I've been a college coach now for, that's almost a decade. And I moved more in a decade than I did the years of being a high school coach, which was 25 years of being a high school coach.
Now, are you packing that shit up and moving it yourself, or are you paying somebody to move it?
When I was at Big Sandy, we just put it in our trunk. That's all we had. So that wasn't much. But when you got 3 children moving to Gilmer from Jacksonville, that was my dad, who passed away in December, just getting a cattle truck. And we had a covered horse trailer as well. We put on the back with a gooseneck, and we just filled it up and moved it ourselves. But since that one, I have not moved again. It's been somebody else doing it for me.
Do you get in trouble? I get in trouble all the time. Do you get in trouble about like it's your fault when you move and you pay somebody to move and coaching? Especially in college, because most college jobs will pay for you to move, right? It's the husband's fault that the moving company lost something in the move.
Of course, it's your fault.
It's your fault. I didn't know if you knew that.
Brother, my daughter, who's now 23, had some American Dolls. And my wife was silly enough to write on the box they were American Dolls, and there's like 30 of them. So if anybody finds 30 American Dolls out there, I'm still paying for. It didn't make it from Arkansas to San Antonio somehow. So if those show up somewhere, please return to the trailer so I can get out of the doghouse.
Yeah. I can't remember what it was this last time. I'm still getting my ass ripped about something. I don't remember it. It's some antiques or something that my wife had. Yeah, they didn't make. I can't remember what move it was, but they didn't make the trip one time, and it's my fault.
Of course, it's your fault.
I'm the one that lost it. Hey, I do have a question for you, and I think it's very good for fans to hear coming from a coach. And one thing I always love and respect about you is you tell it like it is. You don't bullshit, and that's kind of the way the world I'm from. So you're winning every year, and every single year, as long as you're coaching, and it's probably the same thing it was when you were a high school coach and now in college as you're a head coach, your name is going to come up in jobs, in rumor and circle mill and all that stuff. And some rumors take off, some don't. As a college coach, or in your opinion, not really as a college coach, do you ever feel a need, or do you ever address those rumors with the staff or the players or anything like that, or you just let them go?
No, we address it all the time. We always talk about it. I try to stay in front. I was a history teacher, for 10 years. And I started off every class with a current event. I still think it's the best way to teach because people relate to what's going on now. So if there's any kind of rumor, any kind of speculation, we go over it. And I think you need to be very transparent with your people, with your recruits. And I was intentional in signing a 10-year contract. You don't need to mess with Happy. And I have a fan base that's extremely loyal. They're supportive. They're appreciative. This is very similar to Gilmer in the aspect they hadn't had a lot of success before we got here. So the fan base is very humble and grateful. And when you're a head coach, don't sleep on that. Go get you a fan base that's not very humble, not very grateful, and see what that life is like. Now, I don't know that it's always going to be that way here. But so far, I've said that a million times too. The climb up is always the greatest. It's the staying there that's the hard part.
Amen to that. That's my saying. It's hard, man, and people don't realize. Like, people really don't realize how much easier it is to get there than it is to stay there.
Well, you saw that in Tuscaloosa over and over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about this with Saban all the time. That's the part of the Saban story that I'm not sure that people completely get. It's one thing to get to the mountaintop as he did at Alabama, but to stay there for as long as he has stayed there, and fall a couple of times and get right back up that's incredible.
Yeah, and Coach, that's one thing that, because you're doing the same exact thing, and you've done it. You're doing it on different levels, and I think it's something that's really cool. But one thing that I think is awesome about watching you guys play is, it blew my mind. I was actually talking to Zach Brown's a good friend of mine, works for you. And when I was talking about quarterback, this is way back in the season or whatever. He was like, yeah, we got Frank Harris, the quarterback, is going to be back for another year as a starting quarterback. First of all, how awesome is it to have a guy starting, having him back? But two is, like, how do you keep him? I mean, he's gotten better every year. He's played for so long that he's going to be going, for the fans out there that don't know, he is going up in the all-time NCAA total offense yardage. He was right outside of the 30. He'll probably end up in the top 5 to 7 in the history of the game. So how do you keep him as a head coach humble, motivated, and continue to improve? Somebody that good.
It's just who he is as a human. He's got a great father and a great mother. Frank is one of the most unique people you'll ever meet in your life. And the Lord deserves all that credit, his mother and his father. I just was extremely blessed to get to inherit him. He's a tremendous athlete, but a better human. We've been blessed, and we're thrilled to get him back. I know that he's magic. He's absolute magic.
It's a rarity in today's college football to have a player of his magnitude sort of stay in a program for 4 years. I mean, that it doesn't happen much.
Well, we're 11 days away. I'll feel a lot better when this portal thing's over. He's one I don't worry about. He would not do that. He just won't. And I've got 9 players on offense that 6 go their 4th year starting for me. And we're more than fortunate. But trust me, that portal makes me just nervous as heck, but hopefully we'll be out of this thing in 11 days. And I'd be shocked if I lost any of my guys. They've not shown anything like that. They're getting messed with all the time, and it's unfortunate. That's where the game is right now, but it is what it is.
You've been vocal about the I've been calling it the tampering portal for a while. I said that we've got seasons. We got the football season, then we have the tampering portal season. These are seasons that overlap, by the way. These are not cut and dried.
Yeah.
Right. You got the tampering season, and then you have the transfer portal season. We're in the portal window now.
Yeah.
11
days.
Day 3.
You've talked about it a lot. Can you describe for listeners, for people who are watching right now, what happens in terms of tampering? How does the tampering happen? How does it happen? How do you get wind of it, and then sort of how do you handle it when you realize that it's happening inside to your program, I should say?
Well, where I'm blessed is I'm so close with our players. They come and tell me. They screenshot stuff and they just show it to me. And I call the coaches up personally and just talk to them on the phone personally. And, everybody's scared to admit it, but we all know what's going on out there. And luckily it hadn't had to get, bloody yet. But I'm prepared to go there if it were to go there. And I tell my guys, they better not be doing it, right? We better not be. Here I am beating the drum. We better not be out there messing somebody else's kids. If they get in the portal, and I'm so old school, but I'm not perfect, man, by any stretch of the imagination. I hope we all understand that. But I'm so old school. Like when those kids call me up that I recruited before and tell me they're unhappy, they won't get in the portal, I literally tell them, go see their head coach and tell their head coach they're unhappy and they're thinking about getting in the portal. And at least let the head coach have a chance to speak to you before you're already out there reaching out to people. And I'm all for NIL. These kids deserve money. I mean, Frank Harris has had his 6th knee surgery. Zachary Franklin's had 3 knee surgeries. JT Clark had a major knee surgery. Brandon Madison, shoulder. Rashad Wisdom, shoulder. Man, who cares? My kids aren't getting paid stupid money like you hear about. But my guy, who cares? They're getting a car, some insurance, and a phone. I mean, that's the least we could do for them. And I have no problem with that. It's the pay for play. It's the transfer where you're tampering with somebody else's kid. That's the stuff that bothers me. And also, high school kids coming out, man, this is crazy. Let them go prove something. There's got to be a way we can think through all this to still make graduation matter. There's just got to be a better way. Give them 5 years to play 5. And, there's just got to be a better way. And if their coach leaves, let them leave. If their coach leaves, they can get in the portal, be eligible. If they graduate, there's just got to be some incentives
That's your free agency tool right there if you graduate.
Because what's going to happen is this COVID stuff, in my opinion now, is hiding some things about graduation rates because all these kids are getting extra years. And I'm afraid we're going to see our graduation rates really plummet when the real facts come out from all these kids leaving. Because when you transfer, just your common sense should tell you you're going to lose hours, right? When you go from one school to another school, you're going to lose hours. Then your percentage towards your degree, you're not going to reach it. So I'm worried about it. I am. And I know as soon as anybody hears this, they're going to be, oh, yeah, Coach Traylor is not for player movement. That's not what I'm saying at all. I want my players to get paid. I love it. But there's got to be a way we can get a handle. Right now, it's unrestricted salary cap and unlimited free agency. And it's impossible to run a business successfully for a sustained amount of time when those are the rules.
I'm glad you said that. Neal he was over there probably laughing because I have said that for, I don't know how long we've ever done this show. That's been my whole thing is like people don't even think about the academic ramifications of this deal. When you transfer, you don't, hey, I got 60 hours here. I'm not going to have 60 hours when I go to the next place. But, hey, we're all about the kids. Let's let them graduate.
Because sometimes a kid is leaving a university. Forget this football for a minute. A kid is leaving a university that is an engineering, mechanical focus type school, and he's going to a place that's maybe an agriculture school. And so some of the classes that he has to take to graduate with a degree in whatever, right? He didn't take those classes at school number 1. And so when school number 2, I'm not talking about football, I'm talking about the academic part. When they look at it, they're like, well, you haven't taken this prerequisite, and that doesn't really carry over. And so you need to go back and take this prerequisite.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, you lose 18, 21, 24 hours of work, and you're not on pace anymore to even be eligible. That the only reason that's not more prevalent, I think, is because there's a pressure on these, not even compliance, but academically, let's just squeeze this round peg into this square hole. But eventually it's going to get to a place where you can't do that. It doesn't work.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And you'll have more of a mess on your hands.
It really frustrates me when I hear the piece that, well, should not be an academic model. They're only here to play football anyway. Well, man, when I was 18 to 23 years old, thank God they had those rules that made me go to class, or I wouldn't have gone. I mean, I remember when Texas started no pass, no play. Everybody threw a fit about it. I mean, but I promise you, the reason those kids at Gilmer, Texas went to class, they wanted to play football. Now that I'm a 54-year-old man and I look back, I'm so grateful that someone made me go to class and made me get a degree. I have 2 degrees, believe it or not, and I promise you, I didn't care about getting them. I was darn near made to get them, right? So we have to think about that from our perspective as men. Think about what we were like at 18 to 23. We've got to have some incentive to make those kids go to school.
Jeff, I'm going to resist that. I'm not going to think about what I was like at 18 to 22.
Amen.
I have blocked it out. I'm not going there.
But because, again, and people give me all this credit for changing all these kids' lives. No, it's not the truth. I have a football. It's the carrot. I'm going to take the football away from you if you do not behave correctly. I'm going to try to create an environment that you love playing so much and you love ball so much that if I take it away from you, you're going to go to study hall. You're going to go to whatever is required of you to be a better human, social service, community service, whatever that looks like you don't want to do as a young man. When you lose the football, you're in trouble, man, because that's what makes – now some of them they came from great parents. I came from great parents, don't get me wrong, but I was not that guy that just naturally wanted to go to class and do the right thing. Now, I had buddies that were that way. That was not Jeff Traylor back in the day. I'm afraid – I don't think any of y'all are surprised, but I want to make sure you know that.
Hey, Coach, you went to Stephen F. Austin, right?
Oh, yeah. 1.8 first semester, 2.2 the second, because I had to have a 2.0 to stay on the team, right? So there's not a coincidence. It went 1.8 to 2.2.
Averages out pretty good.
I made it, boys. I made it.
Hey, so Coach, I got my first coaching job, and I was a GA at Northwestern State, and Northwestern State and Stephen F. play for the largest trophy in college football, Chief Cato, 7 foot something. Do you remember how tall it is? 7 foot. It's heavy as hell.
Nacogdoches versus the Natchitoches, right? 2 Indians, right. Their brothers, something started walking, and they ended up wherever.
So the story is Chief Cato is the dad. That's the trophy they play for. It's like it's carved out of wood. It's like 7 foot something.
Is that CADDO? Like
CATO, I think.
CATO, okay.
All right, so he had 2 sons, Nacogdoches and Natchitoches.
Yeah.
And they were on the Red River, and he told them, I can't remember the exact time.
You're talking to a North Louisiana boy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll explain it to the fans that don't know. We're 3 people that do understand this conversation. So they had to walk opposite directions. They couldn't get along. Said they walk in opposite directions of the Red River for so long. He told them a day or whatever it was. And then wherever you stop at the end of that day or whatever it was, that's where you set up. And so if you look on a map, Nacogdoches and Natchitoches are right at the equal amount of distance on the Louisiana-Texas line.
How about that? I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a good story.
Yeah. And my challenge was, though, Coach, to tell you about my college experience is when I went to Northwestern State, it took me 6 months. I was almost out of there before I learned how to spell Natchitoches correctly. Natchiootches.
Oh, yeah, that is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still struggle with NACOG. Is it DOCHES? Is there a T in there somewhere? I think it's just CHES. I was there for a while. Met my wife there and everything.
Yeah, you got me on that one. All right, I got going back because I'm really want to get your opinion on this. You and I have similar backgrounds. Obviously, you're a head coach. That's the one background I don't have. But I was a high school coach for a while as well. What is your? Do you feel like the immediate eligibility is killing high school recruiting or hurting it?
You're talking about in the transfer portal.
By the transfer portal taking numbers. Do you feel like that's really hurting high school kids and their opportunities? The number of kids.
I do. But more than anything, the COVID year did as well because you gave everybody an extra year. So that hurt it. But also when they're eligible immediately, I think it does and I'm really torn on it. But if you go back to my original idea, how about 5 for 5? I mean, you got 5 years to play 5, and if you really want to leave that bad, is it that terrible to sit out 1 year? Is it really that terrible to sit out 1 year? I don't see that it would be. So I'm not sure if I think being eligible immediately just does so many things. Like, just think about it. Man, you can use a ton of silly analogies. I can remember when I wanted to quit high school football, and my dad was like, "Nope, you started, you're not quitting." And I ended up being a really good football player later on in my career. But I was the starting point guard as a sophomore, and I started at first base and third base as a sophomore. So when you're young and stupid, what do you want to do? Oh, I'm gonna go straight baseball, straight basketball. My dad's like, "No, you're not quitting." Well, I ended up, growing into my big frame, and I ended up being a decent football player. But that's just a silly analogy. If I would have just quit and gone on, how many things in our own lives, from marriage to friendships to sports, are the analogy of that we just want to go and hang it up and just hang in there. And there's so much, so much joy on the other side of that if you can just push through.
Yeah. I mean, I wish, because we're getting in we talk about all the time. Before you got on, we always have when my 7-year-old plays in a baseball tournament, I give my X of a 7-year-old baseball travel tournament when I come back. But you see it all the time, especially in baseball, is you're doing AAU basketball or travel baseball, and these kids are getting specialized at an earlier age, and they're giving up things. When I'm like, I got a kid. I'm not going to mention the kid, but there's a kid here in town that I'm like, hey, you don't need to give this up because you're very talented. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish that back in our day, we played all 3 sports. But all right, Coach, I got a crazy question for you here. If you could go back in your entire career, is there one play call, just one, that irks your craw? And if you could take one play call back, is there one out there that you would take back?
Oh, I mean, always the most recent one is the one that, gets you the most. But yeah, there's a lot of them. It's always the ones you lose, right? And we lost however many at Gilmer, 20 something, and we've lost 10 here, and that'd be and not every one of them you feel like cost you the game, but darn near every one of them feel like you did. My son's senior year, we're playing Argyle, and it's 2011. He's the quarterback. It's 4th down and 1. Kid's been coached his whole life, never take a sack on 4th down, right? And we call power pass, and they absolutely had the flat covered like crazy, and they're pulling my son down, and he's not going to take a sack, right? So he throws it, and it's kind of a wobbler because he's off balance. They pick 6 it, and you're like, God, I wish I told my son, his whole life, never take a sack on 4th down, but that's better than throwing a pick 6, right? And those kind of little things, you just always feel like, or you're playing Troy, and it's 4th and 2, and they've got the ball, and we can't move the ball at all on their defense. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to fake a punt. And I go punt safe out. I don't go punt safe. I put my regular punt return team out there. And I looked and thought I saw him in a different formation. I was about to call timeout, and I didn't. And he quick snapped it, and they faked the punt, got the 1st down. And they only got a field goal on the drive, but it still was a big play in the game, right? There's just certain things you just beat yourself up on. But I really worked hard in my career to try to learn from those things and be honest with my kids and open and tell my kids when I screwed that thing up, and I'll just be better next time.
What was it like coaching your son as a quarterback? Was that more pressure, or were you able to enjoy watching him play, or what was that like?
It was the worst experience I've ever gone through. I mean, I've told all my buddies, like John King at Longview had Haynes King, and I've told all my buddies, man, don't be like me. Enjoy that, man. Enjoy it. But there's so much pressure to win, and then your own son's out there, and it's just a lot. And I wish my next son was my left tackle, and that was so much more enjoyable than when my son was the quarterback. Like in that Argyle game, I came home and I was beating myself up talking to my offensive coordinator, who's currently here with me now at UTSA. And I said, "What the heck was Jordan? Probably 20 out of 40 tonight." He's like, "Jeff, he was 46 out of 59 or 46 out of 60. He threw for like 500 yards." I'm like, God, I would have sworn he played terrible. But all I remember was that 4th and 1 call on power pass where I wish I ran quarterback sneak like the Eagles.
If you could do it like the Eagles every time and you knew you were going to get 4 yards, hell, you call it
Yeah.
play. First down.
Yeah, he ain't Jalen Hurts. I can promise you that.
I mean, that dude gets 4 yards every time he does it.
Jalen Hurts today got $255 million. So Jalen's doing something right as the quarterback of the Eagles.
Good day for the old brother-in-law today.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Best basketball player ever. Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe?
We debate this all the time. We vote each because Frank Harris is a huge LeBron guy, as is my DFO, Andrew Acosta. But I'm still a Jordan guy. I did call Frank today, my quarterback, and I said on the phone today. Me and my DFO were going to pick up something, and we're arguing again. And I called Frank. I said, Frank, here's the deal. If he wins this one, if LeBron wins it this year, for the first time in my life, I would bump him ahead of Mike. But I got Mike at 1. I got Kobe and LeBron. I am just torn on that one. Longevity, I mean, you got to go LeBron. Mike, winning 6, going 6-0. But what if, I don't know. I still stand by, I'm going Mike, probably Kobe, LeBron, but I could be influenced if he finishes this one off.
So if the Lakers win a title this year, what would it be about this title that would say to you, you know what, that did it? Is it his age that he overcame all the adversity of this year, or the what?
The age, the injuries. I mean, I thought they were done. And now all of a sudden they make a few moves and you're like, what in the heck is going on here? I don't know. I love the dog in Mike. Like, I love it that when it's going down, him and Kobe the ones going to shoot it no matter what the heck's going on. And I know everybody says, well, what about Paxton that one time, or what about whatever. I mean, Kobe and Mike, they're gonna put the dagger on you. Where LeBron has just never. That's just me. That's not a. I do appreciate. To me, LeBron and Magic should be in a discussion because the way they played the game. And Mike and Kobe are in another discussion. I just don't see LeBron like Mike and Kobe. And I know I'm getting everybody riled up right now, but I was a head basketball coach for 10 years before I got into football.
Here's the thing on LeBron. I don't know what the stat is on Jordan. I'd like to go look it up. And I guess if I'd known we were going to have this conversation today, I would have. So Carson and I, my son Carson, and I were driving back from Hattiesburg last night. We were listening to Clippers Suns.
Okay.
And we were talking about basketball because we talk a lot about basketball. And he pulls up this stat and he said, did you know that LeBron's played, it was 268 playoff games or something like that? I might not have the number exactly right, but I'm in the ballpark. And I was like, damn, that's more than 3 full seasons of NBA games. An NBA season's 82 games. That's 3 1/4 additional seasons on his body, in addition to what's he played? 19
he's got
seasons?
plenty of rest because he doesn't play but about 20 games in regular season, so he's fully rested.
That's totally false.
So soft.
That is totally false.
Well, I saw something the other day that really opened my eyes a little bit, but I'm still all Mike, right? I'm team Mike. But they showed a play where Mike was posting up on the block, and there were 4 guys above the free throw line, and all 4 of them had to go up there and stand above the free throw line to guard their guy. And it was just Mike on the block by himself. And that was the rule supposedly back in the 90s, which I had forgotten about all that you couldn't play basically team defense at all. And I started thinking to myself, if I got such Michael Jordan, now understand my oldest son's name is Jordan Michael. So there is tremendous preferential treatment in the way I see these things. I'm all Mike. I'm on team Mike.
How'd you talk the wife into that? Did she fight back at all on that, or was that like some sort of a bargain?
That's why he named her Jordan Michael instead of Michael Jordan. She slipped it by.
I got lucky. My father middle name was Michael. My middle name was Michael. So she agreed that the middle name was going to be Michael. We also wanted to go with the J since my first name is Jeff. So it's going to be JMT. So I pulled the old switcheroo on her.
That's good shit right there.
That's good.
All right, so
a lot of women will be like, no, we're not doing this. That is a bridge too far.
Yeah, I got shot down on my first one.
What'd you want to?
I wanted to name my
Bo?
first.
You want to name him Bo Jackson?
I wanted to name my
Siskey?
first son Absolute.
Oh, good God.
That's what I wanted to name my first son. I got shot. That didn't make it very far.
That shouldn't do.
All right, Coach.
Erin has dealt with a lot. You know that
she has.
She really has.
My wife is a stud, by the way. She's been through everything.
She has been through a degree of mental anguish that
Yeah, she went through paying taxes today too. So
yeah.
she's in a whole different world of mental anguish today.
Let's not go there. I'll be bringing whiskey out in a minute. That's no fun.
All right, Coach. I hear you have a phenomenal love of flying. The rumor on the street is that you are a super fan of flying in the airplane. So my question is would you ever? What would I have to do to get you to skydive one time?
There's nothing. There's not a chance. My baby brother did that, and I was there. There's no way in heck I'd ever do that. No way. Nothing. No dollar figure.
$100 million, you wouldn't jump out of a plane.
Not a chance. Not a chance. Not a chance.
$100 million, you would tell me to kick rock.
No chance. I don't care what number you go to. There's nothing worth that. I pray every time we get on a plane, and I'm up all the time. I mean, I'm the guy that on the pit, I'm praying. When we've smooth altitude, I'm praying, and on the way down, I'm praying. We're gonna get there. I'm praying us through.
Hey, there's a rumor out there that your recruiting areas may be affected by your ability that if you have to get on a plane or not to go see a kid, you may be a little tighter in your recruiting area.
There's no doubt. I love these Texans because nobody wanted to recruit it because there's nowhere to fly in there, and that was perfect for me. I would drive in there and drive to every town. I didn't need any of that Google box to show me where to go. I just knew by the stop signs and the red lights where to turn. I was golden. So, no, me and John Madden might have a lot in common.
Has it alleviated at all? Has it gone away at all, the fear of flying, as you do it more?
No, not at all. Maybe the familiarity of just all the check-ins and stuff. Obviously, when you're from Gilmer, Texas, you don't fly a whole lot as a youngster. And Charlie thought I was a pretty good recruiter at Texas, and he had personal jet. So that was a little easier, just driving up, walking on a personal jet versus going through all the nonsense of, flying commercial. But it's still, I'm just as nervous. And I don't know why either. I'm probably a control freak, and I naturally just don't like heights. Just don't like it, never have. And you would think as many times as I fly now, and my children and my wife absolutely love it, and they have no fear whatsoever. But, man, I can promise you, me and Mercy Me and Toby Mack and Lauren Daigle, we are going to be on my Christian, and that's it, Christian music the entire time. And this is how I fight my battles. You name it, I am rolling to some good old Southern Christian music the entire time I'm up.
Somebody told me that, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what it is. Sometimes coaches, there's a lot of coaches like that. Do you like so if you have to get on a small, like when you were recruiting and you had to get on the small plane, did that bother you more than the big planes?
Yes, sir, for sure. There's no doubt. That really shakes me. I would never get on a helicopter. Kobe made that for darn sure. I'm never going to do that.
I wouldn't do a helicopter for like when I refuse, like as a point, because this is the new, not the new thing, but been going on a while. Coaches helicoptering. Like I told last job I had running recruiting was with Matt Luke, right? He's like, we should get a helicopter. I said, look, you can fire me. I'm not doing the helicopter thing because I'm not going to be the guy that I don't trust him. I don't mess with helicopters. I would rather fly the plane than get on a helicopter.
I was in a helicopter last summer.
No, no chance. I don't mess with helicopters.
I don't like it.
I didn't really.
I wish I did. And I mean, I remember I listened to a sermon Sunday, yesterday, and it was on what do you have issues with control wise, like when you think you're God. And I'm like, this flying thing, man. That sermon he was pounding me. Now he was pounding me because I know he was talking straight to me on that control thing.
Ugh. All right, Coach. Where was the last place that you went on family vacation?
Last place on family vacation. Boy, that's a great question. When's the last time I went on a vacation? Where'd I go, James? Oh, yeah, I did go see my kids in New York. I've got 2 kids. They live in Manhattan. My son coaches for the Saints. So the Saints are playing the Eagles on New Year. So we went to Philadelphia. If you call that a vacation, I thought it was a vacation. Horseshoe Bay up here, between Austin and San Antonio. We went there during July 4th. I would never, if I got to fly, I just want to drive. There's so many beautiful places in Texas, man. We got to go see all these places. That's a vacation to me.
A hell of a drive from San Antonio to Manhattan now.
I hated that flight. That was rough.
Have you ever had a flight that you enjoyed?
All the ones that I land, they're great. I'll say that, but no, sir, I don't. I will say occasionally you'll go up in one. There's not like, if there's just a little bit of turbulent air, a little bit, that freaks me out. I want one that like literally there's nothing, like not even one. And I hate it when they tell you put your seatbelt on. There might be turbulent air coming up. Now I'm just really praying. I'm hat down, just praying so hard, and then it never happens. And I'm like, thank the Lord.
Well, I now know that if I ever hear Jeff Traylor's name connected to one of those Pac-12 jobs or something, I'm like, he's not doing that. Where he's got to fly over the Rocky Mountains all the time. That's not happening.
Yeah.
I got a good buddy when I was considering a job here recently, and he said to me, Jeff, a long time ago, you told me if you got to fly to recruit, you're not taking that job. If you take that one, you're going to fly to recruit. And I literally said to myself, that's it. That's a deal breaker. I'm out.
That's great. I so respect the honesty of this.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to happen. His name's going to come up with jobs. Go, hey, like Washington. Yeah. Nope, it's not happening, guys. You're wasting your time.
All you got to do is do this. You can put a radius on whatever job they're talking about. Draw a 3-hour circle around it. If I cannot fill my roster up in that 3 hours, I'm not going.
So great. You're going to Florida's open. Anywhere in Florida, anywhere in the Southeast is good. Florida, Texas, you can kind of stop there, and that's it. That's it.
San Antonio, I can get to Houston, I can get to Dallas, I can get to East Texas, I can get to Austin, I can hit all of them. I mean, I'm golden right here.
I'm curious to kind of get back to something with some of the big Power 5 schools in your state, Texas A&M, as involved in the portal as they are, and that opening up some spots. Has it allowed you to recruit at a higher high school level at UTSA than maybe you could have if they were completely dialed into to high school recruiting?
There's no doubt, and that we've cashed in on that. We have a Power 5 model here. If they're not Power 5, we don't recruit them. So if we don't think they could play at a Power 5 school, I don't want them on my roster. And that's obviously changed in the last 2 years. When we first got here, we could not be that way. We were just hoping somebody would want to come play for us. But now that so many kids are getting overlooked in our state, with measurables, if they got power, they got length, and they just show a little bit of video, and I know somebody in that school that speaks on their name, I'm taking them.
That's the thing I've noticed. I told you before, but Coach, I noticed probably ever since the portal's been going crazy, there are kids that, when I was at Ole Miss or Alabama, I'd be recruiting, and I want that kid on my team. Well, now you look at them, the kids are going Group of 5, FCS or whatever, the same kid, and you're just, now it's the level of school is they're able to bump up their recruiting because of that. Because, like I said, there's less and less kids being signed out of high school.
We battle. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Jeff.
We battle. We're going to go toe-to-toe with Arizona State, Colorado, Nebraska, those teams up north that people would think UTSA might not could out-recruit for no other reason than if they get up there. You know how those guys are great recruiters too. They don't bring them up there when it's freezing cold and snow. They bring them on the most pretty day there is up there. And when those dudes from Texas get up there and go, good gosh almighty, I got to wear a coat 2/3 of the year, and they want to come back home, we've got enough of a relationship with them. When they get back in the portal, we can get them back down here. We've had a lot of success. We're just going to recruit Power 5, and we'll suffer. And where we miss, we'll get in the portal and try to clean up our mistake.
In an ideal world, how much of your roster is from the portal? How much of your roster is homegrown, if you will?
It's a great question. When I was with Charlie, that's where I thought we messed up. Charlie was such a good human, and he really thought Texas was going to give him 5 years. And he did it the old-fashioned way, where we recruited young, and we were going to get the roster turned over, slowly and play those kids when they got older. And I remember telling him, I said, Coach, this fan base is not going to give us 5 years. We got to get this thing done quicker than that. And so Charlie got fired in 3. Chad got fired in 2 at Arkansas. So note to self, right? I'm like, I'm going to have a blended roster. I'm going to have, probably 4 or 5 transfer portals, probably 6 or 7 JUCO, and probably 12 to 14 high school kids. And I've stuck to that just about every year we've been here.
If Morris had more time at Arkansas, could he have gotten that done?
I know we let them some good players. Sam's did a fantastic job. And, I know Hunter Yurchek did what he thought was best for that fan base. And, anybody wish they had a little more time. But I understand. You got to win this business. Nobody cares anymore. You got to find a way to win now.
You like that's right up your alley right there, isn't it? It's a scoreboard business.
That's what I always tell people. It's a scoreboard business. And
here's the truth. In the old days, if you're a good fella, you treated people good, you were honest, you talked to the media, you did all the good things right, you probably got an extra year. The reason I'm good to people because the Lord commands me to be. You're not getting any extra time anymore being a good human. Doesn't matter how bad of a human you are, you win, you're staying. Don't matter how good of a human you are, you lose, you're out. And that's the way of the new world, like it or not. Just know there's going to be a day where you're going to pass on and you're going to get judged, and you better win that day. I can promise you that.
Yes, you should. That's the one game you need to win. All right, Coach, speed round. I'll get you out of here, man. I appreciate the hell out of your time. All right, so I'm going to give you quick questions, quick answers, speed round. You ready?
There's nothing quick about Jeff Traylor, so this is going to be trouble.
Longest bus ride to a game?
Abilene.
How far is that?
Oh, we were on there for, it seemed like 6 hours. I'd say probably 5-6 hours.
Oh, that's not terrible. Favorite sport besides football?
Basketball. No, not even close.
He can't answer that one. I left that one. I probably.
Is basketball your favorite sport?
It always was. If I had not been in Texas, I probably would be a head basketball coach to this day. The only way you're going to be in control is you can tell I'm a control freak. You got to be the football coach in Texas. If I had been raised in Indiana or Kentucky, I'd probably be chasing basketball games right now.
What was your style of basketball coaching? If you're a college basketball coach, are you an up down quick?
No doubt. Anytime my team passed the ball more than once, that was one too many times. If you're open, shoot that rap. If you can't shoot, you're not going to play for me. So shoot it. The more time you pass it, the better chance you had of turning it over. Let's get a shot up.
So you're Mike D'Antoni.
We worked defense about 10% of the time. We played a 1-3-1 trapping zone, and we worked offense 90% of the time. If you looked at my high school football teams the first 7 years, we were about the same darn way. We couldn't stop anybody. We outscored everybody. Now, the last 8 years of my high school career, and now I realize you got to tackle somebody and play great defense. You're not going to win championships.
That's good. I like that. We ran a 1-3-1 half court trap as our base defense in high school.
Yep, I did too.
And then offense, like our entire fast break was our. I could have played for him.
Yep,
I was the player. If you can't tell, I was the one guy out there. All right, how many cups of coffee a day, Coach?
Oh man, my secretary's right beside me. James could probably tell y'all. I come in with 2. He gives me 1 about lunch. 3. I'm 4 a day easily.
4 a day. I'm 1. Where are you?
2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
When I go downstairs and my trainer checks my blood pressure, I go back down to 1 or 2. But and it's crazy. When I go to 1 or 2, my blood pressure goes down to 120/80. But when I'm 4 a day, it's high. And it's crazy how that caffeine can't do that to you.
So on game day, does your blood pressure go up because you're all geeked up, or do you get in some kind of almost a zone where it gets really calm?
I've worked really hard to change my sideline behavior where I do look like I'm under control, but there's no part of that under control. My blood pressure is through the roof on game day, no doubt.
I would kind of like to, if you can find a coach whose blood pressure goes down on game day, I'd like to meet that guy.
Well, there's different guys who disguise it better than others because there are some guys.
I agree. I think if you were to watch my sideline demeanor, you'd be shocked. But I've worked hard at that. I was a big John Wooden disciple, and I remember John talking about the coaches that screened the most on the sideline did the least during practice. And that always really bothered me because I did the most coaching during the game, and I would watch myself and I would say, well, what am I doing wrong? And I really tried to be that guy, like you visualize my energy at practice. Then when you come to my game, I want me to look like the most relaxed person in the world so my kids feel that. So I've worked hard at that.
Yeah, I couldn't. I tried to. I'm the same way. I try to, because I always said I coach you on Sunday through Friday. I'm on your ass. I'm coaching hard. Saturday I'm your fan. I'm a fan. I'm gonna coach you, but
I agree.
You're
100%.
You got to do your coaching then, because if it's too late if it's on Saturday, boss.
Yeah, I mean you can make a little correction or something here and there, but
but that's not
right. But you're not
explaining to somebody. I'm a receivers guy. Coach receivers too. I'm a receivers guy. You didn't go, hey, look, this is how you sink your hips in and out of a route on Saturday on the sideline.
Too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
They're not hearing a word you're saying anyway. You're just hollering to be hollering.
Yep, I've had to go that route myself. All right, Coach. Last honeydew you did around the house.
Ooh, Lord have mercy. My son got married this weekend, so there was about 10 million honeydews. It's always my shoes. I'm the worst at leaving stuff out. I don't know if that's a honeydew. I mean, that's probably just expected in a normal culture, but she's on my tail all the time about leaving something out. She wants stuff. She's compulsive now. That house is going to be spotless at all times, and I'm not a willing participant. So cleaning up after myself. I'm terrible.
I get yelled at about the shoes too. Apparently, that's my habit. Is I'll just
It
leave
may be a man thing because I get yelled at it too.
I leave a pair.
Well, if we're gonna wear them tomorrow, why we got to move them? Why can't they just stay right there?
Well, and then if don't tell me to move them, and then I found out you moved them, and now I can't find them.
Oh, we call that hide and go seek around my house.
Amen.
Well, the other thing is,
tell me, hey, you left your shoes in the wrong place, and I'll come.
Well, it's a trick. It's a trick, right? Because they tell you to take them off when you come in the house, right? But then they want you to put them up in the farthest room away from where you take them off. All right, so that's where I fail. Why would I go? I'm going to put them on when I go back out the door. So why would I travel all the way across the house to put them in some closet? I don't know. It is what it is. All right, Coach, last question because you've been very, very generous with your time. This is a very important question. Are we alone in the universe?
Big place, man. It's a big place. I don't even go there. I just don't. My mind is too simple. So I don't know what's going on. All these people showing these pictures of things up in the air. There's probably something out there. I don't know, but I can't prove it. So I don't want to be one of those conspiracy theorists. But I'm not going to go there, man. I'm too simple of a creature. I'm just going to try to get home to my lovely wife tonight.
I love it. Coach, man, I appreciate the hell out of your time, man. I'm excited about what y'all got going. Got a squad coming back, so I know you got high expectations for this year. I know you're ready to go, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. And just for since I'm out of coaching now, I can also tell you this is on behalf of all degenerates like me, we're very thankful because y'all covered a very high rate over there at UTSA, so you're keeping the general public happy too. But you can't comment on that, so don't.
Well, also, I want to speak to you about your buddy Zach Brown. He's a savant in this business, and as good a human, as good a coach I've ever come across. And I know I shouldn't say that because somebody tried to hire him from me, but you got a real heck of a buddy there and a heck of a ball coach as well.
Yeah, he was a guy that. So Zach was here with us at Ole Miss when I came back the second time. He was already here. When I've told you this is when you get around young coaches and they got it, you just know. You know what I'm saying? Like when he extremely smart, well thought out, thinks 3 times before he says it. He doesn't just because young guys a lot of times will try to talk their way into being smart. He listens and is very articulate and takes his time. He's good, man. He's got a extremely bright future in the business.
I agree. Every day I get to coach with him is a blessing.
Well, Coach, I appreciate the hell out of you, brother. And if you ever need anything, let us know.
Appreciate y'all as well. God bless. Birds up.
There we go.
That's Jeff Traylor, the UTSA head coach. Give us a bunch of his time here today. I'm going to try something.
All right.
I got just a suspicion on something. We'll see if I'm right.
Okay. I like when you have suspicions.
Nope, I was wrong.
All right, go back to our split screen. I like the split screen anyway.
Okay.
I like that view better. Yeah, I like this one. You like the other one better?
I don't really have a preference.
Dude, let me tell you something. That is as good of a dude as there is in the business, and I'm glad we were very fortunate to get him on, and I didn't want to embarrass him in front of everybody, but he is going to continue to be an extremely hot name in coaching as these searches go on. I mean, the guy does nothing but win. And, I mean, you heard him say it there is like, they got to win now, and that's how the business is. And he is going to be – it's kind of cool. We got him. We got Summerall. We got Kane Womack all on the podcast in the last couple weeks, whatever it is. All 3 of those guys you're going to see blow up in the next probably this next cycle, I imagine. I guarantee you one of them will not be at their – and it won't be because they don't win. At least one of those guys will not be at that same school next year.
Yeah, I think that's more than safe.
I mean, the guys won 23 games in 2 years. And actually, they lost to Troy, which he was talking about in the bowl game. But, dude, they're good. He's got his quarterback back. They got 9 dudes back on. Dude,
that Troy UTSA game was a hell of a game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a defensive – I mean, they were just – defense was showing up on both sides that day. But I just Killer Cam says next coach at Texas, write it down. I can't argue with that. I guarantee you if it opens up, he's going to get talked to.
Yeah, I would be surprised if really surprised if in 2 years he, John, and Kane are all in the same where they are now. I'd be surprised if even one of them is in the same place.
Yeah, they do it right. They got a great staff, great people, great town, great recruiting area. But you kind of see, I'm glad we got getting these coaches on. You kind of see a little bit about who they are, and you want to know why they're. You want everybody goes, why don't their guys transfer? There you go. That answers the question because they're playing for that guy. They got a culture in the building, a guy that cares about his players and staff, and just good dude, man. So
we're brought to you by Walk On Sports Bistro, where they put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. They dig into their mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine, like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. Check them out in Ridgeland or Oxford today. We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. Doors Rule says we should get Coach Tyler from Oxford on one of these shows. I'd be all for that. I'm a big Drew Tyler fan. For my son did not play for him. He tried out for his team. The way that was handled was made me a fan for life. He did teach his driver's ed class. Coach Tyler did. No, seriously, if
he taught my kids in driver's ed, he would quit.
He'd break them. He'd break them.
I don't know, man.
He's good.
I don't know if he's that good.
Is there a harder job? Can you imagine a more stressful, where you just have to be cool than being a driver's ed teacher?
That would be the worst. I yell all the time. I couldn't do that. That would be comedy, is to putting a camera up with me teaching driver's ed. That would be comedy. All right. Before we get out of here, I want to talk real quickly about new recruiting rules that are going in place. And I did listen to your show a little bit this morning. I know y'all talked about some baseball stuff, but I want to talk about some football stuff it's out there, man. So going in July 1st, two really big adjustments. There's a third one we can talk about later, but the two biggest one is now there is going to be an unlimited amount of official visits that a prospect can go on. Okay. Previously it was 5. Each kid could go on 5 official visits. That's where the school pays for you and 2 other, your family to come in for the weekend, whatever, right? All expense paid. They have moved that to unlimited. All right. Which is good. I mean, it's good for the kids, one-time experience and all that stuff, but this is going to create, not with everybody, but there's going to be a shit show that comes up about this. Because there is a problem that the schools, they only have 56, okay? So at Alabama, Ole Miss, or South Alabama, Troy, it doesn't matter. They only have 56 visits that they can pay for. All right?
And that includes portal visits, right?
There you go, okay? So before the portal came in place, I never got to 56, ever. I mean, I may get to in the 40s somewhere, and there was a rule that you could bank 8, okay? So you could go from 56 to 65 the next year, but you never used them. I just stayed on bank. I would always use in the 40s. Well, now you've added the portal. So when you bring in a kid on the portal, that counts as one of your deals, right? So now this past year, before this rule even took place, this past year you saw a lot of teams getting into that bank. They're using all their visits. I can't tell you how many schools I talked to, they were out of visits. Well, now you're adding this element into it that kids can take unlimited visits. And this is what's going to happen. It doesn't go into effect until July the 1st, okay?
Okay.
What will happen is this. Let's say, Neal McCready, you're a top 100 player.
Yeah.
Let's say you're the best.
Close.
What position you want to play?
Oh, hell, let's make me a quarterback.
All right. You're the best quarterback in America.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
I was so close, man.
You were so close. You could go on 5 official visits when they start here just shortly, and you can burn all those up. And then July 1st comes around, it's unlimited. There's nothing stopping you from going, man, where's college game day this week? They're at Michigan, Ohio State. I want to go to that game. Hey, where's college game day? Oh, they're at LSU, Texas A&M. I want to go to that game. And you call up these schools and go on an official visit. Now, as the school end of it, they're not going to say no. They got the best player in America coming.
Right.
They got a chance. And so you're going to get their visits are going to be ate up with that. Does that make sense?
It does. I do kind of question how many kids, and maybe I'm wrong,
Well, I can tell you. I know what you're about to ask.
because most kids now don't even take all 5.
Most don't. And this is
so
not a problem.
And so I really question whether there's a lot of kids out there that can because you got to be good enough to dictate this, right?
Yes. You're probably talking about of the top, let's call it the top 100 players.
Right.
There's probably going to be 15 to 20 that abuse this. And you say like, and originally you're going, and this is where the problem comes in, is that's no big deal, right? That's what they're thinking. I get it. But it's the same school. So if you're like basically any SEC school besides Vanderbilt, you're Clemson, you're Ohio State, USC, or whatever, those 20 kids are going to go on 20 official visits and start taking away from your elite deals. The group of 5 schools won't notice a difference.
Right.
Won't notice a difference.
No, you're right. SEC schools, this is going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a challenge for elite programs and elite leagues.
And, maybe you're like Ole Miss last year was off to that, hot start, and Alabama comes in.
Oh,
right?
yeah, you're booked.
You're 8-1, and all of a sudden, I don't think this is a stretch. 8, 9, 10 national kids go, hey, I want to take my official visit this weekend. I want to come. And you have to – that's where you got to have the guy in the room that goes, hey, we're not getting that kid. We've been on this.
That's the hard part, right?
We're not getting this kid. So when we take him, we're burning a visit that we might end up needing in the portal or later in the recruiting cycle. We need to just go, hey.
It's going to take somebody that has – you're probably going to be the head coach most places. All right. Now, if I was here with Matt or I was at Alabama, I'd go say, hey, coach, look, this is the deal. We're not getting this guy or whatever it is. We don't need to bring this guy in. But coaches are going to push, especially the guys recruiting them, because they want a chance to sign the one player in the country because it helps them in their career, right?
Sure.
But it's not. It's Grind says, what's the drawback? There's none for the kids. It's great for the kids, okay? If a kid wanted to, hell, he could go on literally a vacation every single weekend for 2 months.
But here's the thing, and again, I think I'm right on this. And if I end up being wrong, I'll eat crow. My experience with the kids is, especially kids now, they take a couple visits, 3 visits, and they're tired of it.
Most are. I agree with you.
Yeah, and they just go, because here's the thing, and I'll be quick. There's a kid put out today a top 8.
Congratulations.
You're not considering 8 schools. It's not possible.
No.
It's not possible. Now, you can make that list, and again, I'm pro kid. So you want to put out a graphic, and you can get somebody to put the graphic out, and you can get all these different guys that cover recruiting to write a story, because I guarantee you that kid, I could go to On3 and 247 and several rival sites today, not ours. I'm not doing it because it's dumb. It's disingenuous, and it's silly. But there will be people, so-and-so put out a list of top 8. Let's break them down. Here's the fit at all 8 schools. All right. So included in that.
Slow news day.
You never did what the NIL number would be. No. You never did anything that's real. And he's not really considering 8 schools. If I were to get that same kid and I said to him, hey, Johnny, seriously, what 2 schools are you thinking about?
Yeah.
Truth serum, honest, off the record, he'd go, this one and this one.
You can get them, but I would say you can get them down early in the process. I used the official visit part in December because I hated any visit that did not take place. Like, I hate them during the season because you don't get to spend time with the kids because you're coaching your own kids.
Yeah.
So I would always tell our coaches, look, if we can't get them, if you call the kid and say, hey, I need you to come on December the 6th. And he's like, well, no, I'm going to this school that day. If you cannot get one of those 3 visit dates before signing day, guess what?
He's not coming.
You're not getting him. So stop practicing recruiting. That was I didn't want to practice recruiting. But anyway, the answer your question, Grind, the drawback's not with the kids. It's just going to be the elite programs. And I'm talking about, and this whole league's full of them. All right. And your USCs, your Oregon's probably going to be a big one. Oregon, your Texas, Big 12s and all that stuff, your Power 5 conferences for the most part are going to have to do an unbelievable job managing who they allow to come in and who they don't.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And here's the big one. January 1st. Okay. So they have come in and said they are doing they're really changing the whole calendar. Okay. So January the 1st of their junior year. Okay. So in the past, the bump rule, right? We've talked about this is actually a decent, I understand what they're doing here. They can't control the bump rule anymore. All right. Ask me how I know. Okay. They can't control the bump rule. because this is what would be happening. I didn't do it. I'm just telling you this what would happen. In January, I go by a school, and then there may be an upcoming junior that's in a closed room somewhere talking to a coach. That's the bump rule. It's illegal, right? So they have now made that a contact period. So it has to take place on the campus, but you can have 3 contacts with a prospect during their spring of their junior year. So you can have 2 during January and 1 in the spring. So that means I could go to a school and sit down and talk with a kid. You can also take the head coach by. The head coach can have 1 contact. Now, here's the problem. If you're at a school and your head coach doesn't like to recruit high school kids, he's going to have to be really busy in January, and you're going to be really good at your logistics to get him all around this country seeing the right juniors, because your list is not shrunk like it is in December.
Right.
Your list is at 200, 300 kids. Who do you choose to go see with your head coach? Because they can only be in one place at one time. And if your head coach doesn't go see that guy, now you've lost ground in recruiting. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like, it's going to be a nightmare, that part. And then in the spring, they adjusted the day. So it used to be 168 days, which has actually started Saturday. It's down to 140 starting next year. And it's contact. So I could go to a school in the spring, and I could sit down with little Johnny and his mom and dad or all that stuff in the school and do a whole presentation, which is good. I mean, I think it's great for the colleges to be like able to do that. It's bad for high schools again, because the days of going, hey, I'm going today, I'm going to go watch Neal McCready practice and may go by the school and see this kid I really want. But while I'm there, I'm going to go by high school A, B, C, and D, check on the coach, check on some kids. Those days are gone, because you're going to be spending your time like really recruiting.
Right.
And so you're going to see less and less of high school coaches in schools that really don't have elite players. Does that make sense?
It does.
So that's all I got today, boss.
All right. Again, our thanks to Jeff Traylor for his time on the show. Long time on the show today. Thanks to James for helping us get it all done. Alex, the people there.
We should have got them on.
Should have just had them all on. Something tells me James wasn't going to say much.
He was stressed.
He was a little stressed. I get it.
I wonder what his blood pressure was.
Technology, man, can really mess you up. Because it feels hopeless.
Yeah, he did not. When Coach Traylor was like, "We got him on," that's when it started, man. He starts eating the sweat beads.
And I don't know what happened. He muted something and couldn't figure out what
because he heard it the first time.
Yeah.
New computer.
Anyway, it happens. All right, we'll back Thursday. Is that right?
Draft.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah, we'll talk NFL draft on Thursday. So for Tyler, I'm Neal. Don't forget, we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. Until Thursday, take care.